Here we are with another Friday Night Live, December 30th, 2022. And the countdown is almost starting. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve, last day of 2022 on the Gregorian calendar, the man-made calendars. You know, the only time we have is now. And it's the only thing that we really would be wise to focus on most of our time. Spend a little bit of planning in the near now time, which would be we call the future. But now is the only time we have, and tomorrow never comes because tomorrow will be today. And my dad used to always say that. God bless his soul. Tomorrow never comes. Ain't that a fact? You know, we always are planning for our futures, and our future will always be now. So let's put a lot of focus in how we want to spend the new beginning of the new time, new numbers on our calendar. After tomorrow, we will flip the page of calendar, have a different number on the year, and hopefully we can see a whole new light as mankind, as a wonderful God force pushing peace, balance, correct conduct on this planet. It's needed more now than ever. With everything's been happening, especially the last few years, it's a big wake-up call for many people, and many choose to remain in their deep sleep. So only thing we can do is elevate all the souls to peace, balance, correct conduct on the planet. Help shine some light into their souls, into their hearts, so that they may get that wake-up call. And most people want to do good things. They want to be happy. They want to be peaceful. Very, very few people are going to look for, wanting to be in controversies and destruction and stuff like that. A small percentage, and those it could be many, many numerous things. And obstructions overall is the main issue. Mental issues, obstructions. When you have severe mental issues, of course, can come through ancestral, absolutely, through the emotions, because we are part of that. But obstructions, environments that we live in, things we ingest on a continual basis over and over. Everything's contaminated. Everything's fake. We look into nature for purity, and we as mankind have done a great job of contaminating all the purity of nature everywhere. There's some beautiful, pristine places still, but they are contaminated. There's nothing untouched on this planet. I don't believe there's anything that's untouched. But the beauty of the grand designer, the creator, everything is designed to reset back the blueprint. The only thing we need to do is what? Leave it alone, fast. Nature's no different. Mother Earth is no different. And we've seen it when this shutdown happened 3 years ago, how things were, returning beautifully, peacefully, resetting. The dolphins were swimming in the Venice canals. The water was getting cleaner, and the air's getting cleaner in all the places that were shut down. And, happens pretty quick. And can you imagine if we just continue doing that? Not lockdowns, but working alongside nature and assisting nature in its fasting state, as we are ourselves, putting ourselves in the fasting state along with nature, and can you imagine the magic that will happen? It would be incredible what we would see. But mankind is continuously choosing to pillage Mother Earth and poison with chemicals and abominations that are isolates of chemical structures that are not found anywhere in nature. They corrupt things by stripping and isolating, and these things are an abomination to nature and to our physicality. They are very difficult for nature to process and break down. There are actual things that can do it. There are, I believe, certain bacteria and funguses that will break down plastics. Because what are plastics? Plastics are oil. What is oil? Oil comes from the earth. It's not synthetic, but the processing and everything they do makes them, synthetic. But the oil that comes out of the earth, it's a natural product. Mother Earth creates the oil. It's not a fossil fuel, as they tell us. There's nothing to do with fossilized things. The earth continuously creates oil, as we've shown through the GANS making process. You get the oily film in the water, and you need just a couple of ingredients, salt, water, and different elements. And when you have those in place and you create that environment, you create the oil, and it's an ongoing process. So Mother Earth does that. When the environment's correct, it has all those 3 things in place. The oil is created. Same thing as our bodies. In the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom. The plant kingdoms, they produce oils. Our bodies produce the fats, right? And the animals produce fats. It comes from the food we make. You can believe that, but that's the understanding, the new understanding that we have is it works differently than what we've been taught. And everything we've been taught is pretty much a lie, seems to be. With the little understanding we have now, we've come to realize that things are not as we were taught. So we have to look at and open our minds and our hearts to new ideas, because the Creator is miraculous. Just look at all the fabulous and intricate details and everything in nature is just absolutely amazing. Never stops, never ceases to amaze when you take our time and look at nature and how it's structured and so on and so forth, and how it functions and everything, and how precise the cycles are. The sun sets, the sun rises, and so on and so forth. We have the moon cycles, we have the season change cycles, we have the yearly cycles, and many, many other cycles in between. And we can work against and fight these cycles, or we can work in harmony with these cycles and benefit mutually. And that's what we've tried to do, and we've succeeded in a grand part with the Master Fast System protocol lifestyle. It's glorified dry fast. Hello, Barbara. Good evening. Glorified dry fast, and we focus on supporting the dry fasting lifestyle. Masterfast put dry fasting on the map and around the globe. Some want to believe it's a flat earth, whatever you want to believe. We're not here to bring controversy. Everybody can choose their own belief systems, as people do anyway. So, MFS put it on the map like no other. There's nothing really dry fasting on the internet. When the revelation came through that this is something that I really need to look into and started to experiment with the dry fasting, with all the experience I had in fasting, and kind of dabbling in the sort of drier areas, being more dry, more aggressive, as Arnold Ehret explained, but he never talked specifically about the dry fasting. The only thing he mentioned was the less liquids you consume during a fast, the more aggressive the fast. So he understood the power of reducing the liquids, but he never expanded on that. His life was shortened for whatever reasons. It looks like he was murdered to myself, but somebody in vibrant health like that just doesn't easily slip and fall on a sidewalk or whatever, in a curb, whatever it was. Doesn't make sense to me, but anyway. Yeah. Interesting times. Yeah. The dry fast. It's just amazing when you think about it. Do absolutely nothing, and the body heals. Nothing. You don't have to do anything. Don't even have to think. It's just going to get in the way. And thoughts come in, just let them keep going. Just watch thoughts go by like a stream or a river. Just watch them go by. They're not ours. And as we know, they have technologies to implant thoughts into our minds, and we will believe they're our own. Why do you think everything's so much kookiness is going around the world? You're implanting all kinds of thoughts, and the more obstructive we are, the more vulnerable we are to these bombardments, unnatural bombardments of mass mind control, we can call it, or whatever, programming, whatever you want to call it. It's happening. Yeah, you don't have to believe it. It's okay. I've started opening my mind way back, even before I read Arnold Ehret's book. I was already a few years prior to that, actually, quite a few years prior. I was starting to ask a lot of questions, and that's why when I was handed the Arnold Ehret book, I was, wow, what a revelation, bang, and I just swallowed that information and made it part of my lifestyle instantly. I think that it was that same day I changed. I read through most of the book in the one day, and I finished in a couple of days or so. Linda, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. So, somebody just sent me a clip about this nice little 1-minute clip about talking about how lobsters, when they start growing, they start feeling uncomfortable. And in order for them to keep growing, they have to break out of their shell. So they go hide under a rock somewhere and break out of their shell and produce a new shell. And then they continuously repeat that if they want to grow. So the analogies of ourselves, for us to break out of that shell, what do we need to do? We need to purge obstructions. That shell was an obstruction. It wasn't allowing the lobster to grow. It was confined in that same size of shell. So in order for it to grow, it would have to break out of that shell and then bang, it starts growing and a new shell appears. And this is what happens with fasting. This beautiful analogy. What was her name that shared it? Laura. Thank you, Laura, for that. If you're listening, that was a great little clip. I'm going to share that post if I can find a way to share it later on. But this is how we. It would be wise to look at it in a fasting lifestyle. Is we become confined by all the obstructions of our physicality, right, and our emotions. We're bringing in all these obstructions within ourselves, and we can become confined. And one thing he mentioned, people will just go to a doctor and take their Valium and they feel okay, and they never come out of their shell, and they're forever locked into that shell. This is the beauty of meds, right? If you want to think about it that way. So that's why I don't advocate any of that stuff for myself. I choose to do things with the intelligence of our Creator, which gave us abundance of medicinal plants and fasting. Why would we want to go outside of our design? The only reason that we would want to go outside of the design is because we believe there is something superior in our Creator, and that's the foolishness of ourselves that believe that. We fall into that Luciferic intellect trap, which I love that using that terminology, Luciferic intellect, the falsehood of everything. And that Luciferic intellect will convince us of everything but the truth. And it's ongoing. And you can see it clearly now, more than ever before. The Luciferic intellect, that agenda is in full force all around us. And we must allow ourselves to break out of our crammed up shells, kick it out of the way, and be born again, so to say, with a new shell. Because when you break out of that shell, new shell is going to come to be, guaranteed. Happens all the time. If it's our time to go, we jump the fence, we leave our physical body, and voila. And if we've done our time here, we embrace that too. And there's no better way to do it. It's God's plan, naturally, than doing it with pharmaceuticals stuff, meds. There's some people believe they are deficient in pharmaceuticals. That's why they go see their doctors. They believe they're deficient, so they go there and they willingly take these substances, and they believe that these things will solve their deficiencies. Okay, this is the Luciferic intellect at play, right? It's just a crazy world when we look at it, and it's a beautiful world at the same time and intertwined. So what's our choice? How do we want to live it? Do we want to live the crazy life, or do we want to live the beautiful life? The choices are ours for the taking. And it's a decision that we make every single day, every moment to moment, how we're living our lives, and by the choices we make and proceed with the actions we take on a moment to moment basis. And it's just a wonderful thing that we have a free will to choose. And that free will is a double-edged sword, just like everything. We can use it for good, and we can use it for not good stuff. Always would be wise to make the choices of peace, balance, and correct conduct in everything we do. Are we going to be perfect? No, we're going to make mistakes. And as long as we can recognize that we made mistakes and we can learn from them and move on, and hopefully we don't make the same mistakes. Sometimes we're going to repeat the same mistakes over and over a few times until bang, we're tired of banging our head on the wall, and then we say, okay, man, I think I'm done with this, and I got to try something else. Let me try banging it on the cushion for a bit and see if that's a little better, until we stop banging it completely. And this is how we can look at fasting lifestyle. It's going to be challenging, and sometimes it's going to feel like we're banging our head against the wall. It may look like things are not going the way we want to go, but when you've done your homework and you've realized, and you've read the protocol several times, and watched many testimonials that we have of so many people, of what they've went through, and the feelings and emotions and the physical experiences and they went through, then you come to realize, okay, well, maybe it is part of the body healing, right? Maybe you can start asking yourself, maybe it is, because it becomes challenging when you're in these situations, when you haven't gone through it, to want to believe that. That's when I started fasting, okay, it must be detoxification. This is what it says in his book. All kinds of things can come up, and blah 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 blah. And I just took it for granted, and it was there's hesitancy and the doubt, of course, but I took the jump and leap of faith, and I continued, and over and over and over and over and over again, over decades. And what I found is these were facts. They were facts. They were actual facts. The body goes through pretty much anything when it goes through healing reactions. It's the biggest challenge of mankind today is all the unnatural things that we've ingested. These are the biggest obstacles for purging during fasting state, biggest challenges, and is why we have everything we have in place, and the herbal support is of utmost importance, more now than ever, more now today than it was even 3 years ago, since what's been happening with everything is, what we're talking about. So it's vital. We support ourselves. We're being bombarded like never before, and if you want to brave it, you're a hero, and you can do it with all on your own. Good luck. I don't want to know about it. I've been through that stuff, and it's absolutely unnecessary today to go without support, with all the information that we have and the new understanding. We're in a good place to be able to, for people to be able to make a decision and take care of their own health, take charge of their own health, and allow the physicality and the emotions and the mental states to find balance. That's like we say, 9 years is a good start. 9 years, divine 9. It's a good start. And most people don't want to hear that. They want to take a pill and get everything over with, because that's the way we've been programmed, which is the furthest thing from reality. That's the Luciferic intellect feeding us everything but the truth, right? So we have to come to realize that, 9 years is a good start. Okay, when do I start? What about right now? Now's a good time, right? Because 9 years takes time to go by, and if we don't start, it's never going to happen. So jump for joy, and gather all you need, all the materials, and jump in. Join the club. we're here for support for whoever needs it. And it looks like people are braving it on their own more and more, which is great. But would be nice for people to share their journeys to inspire people. We have tons of testimonials, which is more than enough. But fresh new faces and stuff is always welcome when people are choosing to live it and love it and spread the wealth of their journey. So yeah, beautiful times ahead of us. Beautiful times. Let's see what 2023 brings us. If we are able to experience the year, and we're all here. Some of us will depart, and that's just the way it is. And go back, return home into the wonderful limitless realms, I love to call it, the heavens, the limitless heavens, the beautiful place where we all manifested from, our source of energy, our divine creator. As our consciousness always was and always will be. There's no beginning and no end. It's very difficult and challenging to comprehend that. But if we understand just a little bit of what creation is, we cannot have come from nothing. The consciousness is always there. Just like when we have children, that spirit, that consciousness is part of us, and it comes through into look as it looks like a separate being, but it's always part of us, and we can always feel. Those of us who have our parents can feel, our children. Some have more stronger senses than others. Mothers who've carried the children usually have a stronger connection with their children and their offspring, and you can see that as well in the animal kingdom. But not that fathers cannot. It's just that it's a natural bond that nature's created. The creators created it that way for certain reasons, which are pretty obvious if we understand. Mother is the one who nurtures and cares and feeds, and they have two aspects of male and female have different responsibilities and so on and so forth in nature and as humans, as mankind. I don't even like to use the word humans, but yeah, we're ending off this year that started off pretty strange and ending off on a better and also strange note. It's turn that new fresh page in the calendar. Embrace the new year. The post that they said it was the Irish from Ireland. They have the tradition. They open the doors at midnight on New Year's Eve to let out the old year and bring in the new year. That's a good analogy of and a good way of doing that. Old to that Italian tradition, they used to make lentils. They used to make lentils at midnight to start the new year. So everybody has the different traditions. I don't know if they did that throughout all Italy, but certainly in the region that my parents grew up in. Yeah, if you have traditions of what you do, and on New Year's Eve, you can post them in the on that post I made with the door that I shared. It would be interesting to see different people's perspective of traditions and the different cultures and so on and so forth. So it's all very interesting how all the richness of all the diversities and cultures from all over the world. How beautiful it is. If nobody has any questions, I'm done blabbing. We can call it a night for the last hours of the 2022. Woohoo! Tomorrow evening, if you're out partying, be wise, be prudent, and you can start the new year fast. New Year's resolution. A lot of people like to do that, and that's wonderful. We just also in the end part of the season change cycle. A few days left of that. 2 weeks before and after the winter solstice. So yeah, if you haven't done your season change dry fast, it's a great time to do that as well, if you like. Cycles are very, very important part, essential part of master fasting, because master fasting is a glorified dry fast. We've had people that were saying they're master fasting, they weren't even doing any dry fasting. Master fast is not a juice fast. Master fasting is glorified dry fast, and everything we do supports the dry fast. If you haven't noticed, read the protocol over and over again, and you'll come to realize, with all the information we've shared the last 7+ years, going on to 8 years. Next month, I think it's going on to 8 years that I started sharing. The group was at the beginning of the year was when I started, I think, the YouTube channel, was it? And then later on that year, it was August, I think, or September, we started the Facebook group. So yeah, it's been a journey, a wonderful journey, and lots of beautiful people sharing their beautiful experiences, and it's been a blessing and honor to have everybody part. And I we'll keep going as long as we're around, as best we can, when it's for people to be able to enrich themselves and take charge of their own health. There's nothing better to see. And I wish everybody Happy New Year. Let's elevate all souls on the planet to peace, balance, and correct conduct. Let's make the 2023 the best year ever. And blessings to all. Let's praise our divine creator. And we'll see you back on the page. We'll see you. Next call will be in the new year on Wednesday, Facebook Live at 3:06. Good night, all. Ciao.